Have you ever had one of those moments where you have had what you think was just the most amazing conversation with an absolutely brilliant prospect and you were convinced it was in the bag, and then somehow at the last minute they don't want to go ahead and you really can't put your finger on why? You were totally convinced it was the perfect fit, you'd explained all about your value, you had totally proven how you could help, they'd made all the right noises, you really got the feeling that they love what you do, that they absolutely believe in you, and then somehow it's all just dropped off a cliff and this amazing new customer is not going to become a customer. Well, I want to explain to you one thing that may well be behind situations like that, and it's all about trust. Now, the key thing is we know that the importance of trust. We know that if there is no trust, people won't buy. We know that we must build trust, we must build rapport, we must build credibility. We must prove to people that they can know, like, trust, and therefore buy from us. But in what ways do we actually have to look at this idea of trust? And actually, there are probably 3 really key levels or layers of trust that we absolutely need to establish with a customer. And I think you may well find that one of these is very often the lurker that can kibosh what should have been a fabulous new sign-up of a customer. So, excuse me. The first level of trust is the really obvious one. The customer needs to absolutely trust you. They need to trust that you are capable of doing what you say you will, that you are credible, that you are qualified, that you deliver great value, that all of the promises that you make are absolutely genuine, and that you are the right person to help them with their challenge, with their issue, with whatever they're facing. You're the person that can absolutely do what it is they're looking for. So we know that's a key level of trust that you have to establish. We know that things like client testimonials, success stories, case studies, lots of that stuff can help. But it's also about your demeanour, your confidence, how you share stories of the work that you've done with clients, and just all about how you come across. The second level of trust is, do they trust in the process? Do they trust your product or your service or your way of working? Do they trust the way it is that you are going to deliver the solution or the product for them? Do they genuinely believe that this is the way that their problem can be solved? So this is about explaining to them more about how you work, why it works, how it creates value for them, how it will specifically solve their problem or help them with their issue or their aspirations. So it's explaining about your process, not obviously in masses of detail because we'll all lose the will to live, but explaining about how you work and how that's going to deliver them the solution that they're looking for. So those are the two that I think are the more obvious: trust in you and trust in your process or your product. The third one is where I think a lot of sales get lost, and this is trust in them. Do they actually trust themselves to commit to what it is you're offering? Do they trust that they have the time, the confidence, the focus, the energy, the resources, the money? Do they actually trust that if there is work that they will need to do, have they got the time, the patience, the genuine intention to do that work? So if they have niggling doubts about whether they're going to be the person that actually puts the spanner in the works and that stops this solution that you're offering them from working, that is one reason that could stop them from buying. And this one's much harder to evidence because it's not evidence that you can provide them. But what you can do is talk to them about any hesitations, any risks, any obstacles, any challenges that they can foresee. And you can share stories perhaps about previous clients. If you've got examples of previous clients who had very similar concerns, that can be a really good way to establish that level of trust. But it's also about allowing them to be open and honest, showing that you recognise that these hesitations are there, that you recognise that these things are okay and that they're normal, but also that you can work with them, not to crack the whip necessarily, but that you can support them. You can make sure that these doubts that they have will not actually become a reality. So those are the 3 key levels of trust for you to think about establishing with any prospect that you are hoping is going to come and buy from you. Do they trust in you? Do they trust in your product or your process? But do they also trust in themselves to do the work, give it the time, the dedication, the commitment that is required? If you master all 3 levels of trust, then you'll have amazing new customers coming out of your ears for sure. If you would like a little bit more help with that, if it all sounds a little bit complicated, then please get in touch with me and I would love to talk to you about exactly how you can demonstrate those 3 layers of trust and credibility in your business so you can bag lots of fabulous clients to come and work with you.